That game right there, dude. That was Goosey's galore. Wow! Oh my God, does football come back with an absolute vengeance? That game was incredible. Miami Dolphins on top of the Los Angeles Chargers, 36-34. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, the most unstoppable duo in all of the league. And the game, I mean, it was a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster. But at the end of all of this, just an absolute, what an exclamation point to end that game on. The phone's lighting up. The fans are lighting up. Tua goes out there, and in Justin Herbert's so-called house, even though it was basically taken up by Fins fans, dude, Tua goes out there and throws for 466 mother bleeping yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, who said he was coming into this year, going for 2K, 11 catches, 215 yards with a couple of TDs. I mean, it was a range of emotions these last few minutes, because the Dolphins go into this and you're talking about a situation where you get this incredible comeback, you get the lead, you go up 36-37, and then old Fat Cat Sanders tries to ruin your Sunday with us missing the extra point. You need the defense to show up. The defense had not been there basically all game. They were getting busted. They were getting gutted, run up the middle. Everybody here, they're thinking Vic Fangio, he just came here for a paycheck. But let me tell you something about the old dude. The old love to lay in the weeds, all right? And only Fangs, he was waiting for when the moment mattered most. And he dialed it on up, and we sealed it on up to get it done. Little gang sack action right there as you get Justin Herbert belly. There's so many people who hit me last year when Jalen Phillips hit me. It was rough in the passer. That's tough. That's tough nuggets. I don't make the rules there for old check down Charlie, who goes out there and throws, 33 times and gets you 228 yards, Listen, he's a game manager. What can you do? I understand that the Chargers, I understand why they didn't want to put the game in his hands, quite frankly. You go out there and you're rushing the ball, but why would you have this guy go out there and throw? The liability. Go out there and throw. He's intentionally grounding at the end of it. You had it right there. All you needed, listen, you were given a gift, Justin Herbert, a gift. In a key situation, you were given a gift. And what do? Intentional grounding, sacked. Over, dude. Over. Beautiful. It was so happy for Zach Sealer, dude, and happy for Jalen Phillips. It was almost like poetic. You think back to last year, this game, you do have, in all seriousness, what seemed like two very even teams who had to go through their own adversities. The Dolphins did shoot themselves in the foot a lot in this game. I mean, just right out of the gate, they have this beautiful drive. They march down the field, and you're just like, oh my God, look at this run game. It's fantastic. Get inside the red zone. Connor Williams and Tua muffed snap, and then all of a sudden, the Chargers get to go 94 yards, take up 7 minutes of clock to go up 7-0. So you were already in this position where it's like, man, we really have to tighten some things up. And you were frustrated by this because there were just times where Miami just couldn't seem to get out of its own way, whether it be an interception late, whether it be the fumbles, whether it be, the penalties. The penalties. Xavier Howard today. I mean, Mr. Grabby Grab. He was called for a lot of flags today. And I was honestly hoping, in some ways, I hope Xavier Howard finished this game with an interception, some kind of a big hit to get things right. But look, I'll take a couple of sacks from old Fangs, knowing the time when it was to get after it. And you knew all the storylines coming into this between Brandon Staley, having some tutelage from Fangs, and really was a game where they weren't dialing up. The Dolphins were trying to kind of just rush with their own 4 guys, and it was frustrating because Austin Eckler was absolutely killing them. Then Joshua Kelly got involved in the action, and really was just like you had all these elongated drives from the Chargers that you just it was feeling eerie to last year in that, you know, they were using the run game rather than that short passing game to kind of keep these drives going. But the difference was the offense couldn't be stopped on their side of things. The Dolphins' offense was an absolute menace for them, and mainly it was the Tua to Tyreek Hill show. And these guys, I was talking about this today on Game Day Uncensored with the boys, and we were talking with Omar and Alejandro. We did 3 things that the Dolphins need to win the East. And, you know, they were taking admirable things. You know, they got to run the ball better. We got, of course, have, you know, my big thing that I wanted out of anything, this was the huge thing, is I want the Dolphins to continue to soup up their identity. And what I mean by that in Tobin terms is keep giving the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Because we're going to talk about this balance, and balance is cool. Like, balance is fun. Raheem Mostert early in this game, he looked like, you saw the bulkiness, you saw the more hulked up Raheem Mostert give you some good stuff early in this game, but the Dolphins still went away from it eventually. And they all this talk about their run game and having to add to it. And I'm not saying that they're not wrong, but when it comes down to it, the Dolphins throw the football, and Tua Tagovailoa, when all things are breaking down on it, you know, he tries to find number 10 and make things right. But I got to tell you, like, so many guys in this game just came up with big time catches. I'm talking Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios today, you know, had really a couple of the plays of the game in this huge drive where the Dolphins were able to get it within a point. And you were almost thinking to yourself, you're like, man, it was almost a little demoralizing because you had a batted ball at the line, 2 of them bobbles the snap, nearly loses it. I nearly lost it. And then Tua rolls out as those pockets break it down, and he finds Braxton Berrios for just an onions play for Honey Nut Berrios. He gets it done. Alec Ingold then gets a big play, and then Tua finds Berrios again. It was a low to the ground. Chargers ended up even challenging, but you saw, like, no, dude, he got that. He got that football. So huge drive to get them to within 1, and then you're just like, God, can the defense, can they keep this? Because it was going so many directions. Can the defense in any way keep this down? And you're just watching, you're frustrated because Josh Kelly, he just keeps going 4 yards and 5 yards and 4 yards and 5 yards. You're just like, oh my God, this damn Kelly. And then X got his 3rd penalty, and you're just like, man, come on, dude. What are we doing here? But then, you know, the Dolphins get it. Von Ginkel, little stoppy stop. You get this point where Herbert's pressured by JP. Jalen Phillips, so much pressure coming into this year and a lot of expectations on him. One of my, you know, I think everybody's looking at him and saying, hey, dude, are you going to be that dude? Are you going to be? Because he's certainly been talked up, and the guy looks like the incredible friggin' Hulk out there. But he really did turn it up. As this game went on, he was turning it up and up and up. It's almost like he's got a radar for Justin Herbert, and he forces this incompletion. They get the field goal. It's within a touchdown score, and the Dolphins get into this thing. And it was just, again, you had 2 plays that nearly ended up in disaster. This was a game where your heart was in your throat a little bit because the Dolphins get the ball back, a little over 2 minutes, 3 timeouts left. First one, like the same as the possession beforehand, tipped at the line. You're like, all right. Second one, nearly a fumble. It was almost identical. Like the last line where it was like, holy, and this one was Tua dumps it off to Ahmed. He gets hit immediately, but they call the play live. They keep it live. So in case like they got it wrong, the Chargers could feel like they scored a touchdown. So they initially rule it fumble recovery touchdown. I was like, he barely moved. There's no way that was a football move. Thankfully, it gets reversed, called incompletion, and then Tua to Tyreek for 47 mother bleeping yards. Tua crosses the 400 mark. Cheetah crosses the 200 mark, and you were just off to the races there, dude. You know, you were just off to the races. Big play to Craycraft, and then Mostert nearly busted in for a touchdown. Tua almost had an incomplete to River Craycraft in the end zone. Maybe could have run it. Ends up going to most of the next play. They get it close, and then Tua finds Tyreek Hill in the corner. And you gooses galore, dude. I don't. It's like This game had so many things to it and so many layers to it, and there's definitely a lot of things the Dolphins can improve upon and need to improve upon, and you see why. You can still see some of the imperfections that they do have, but if you were to look at this and you were to say to the Dolphins, hey, you're coming into a day. First of all, one of the big things we came into what? Dolphins, you're thinking to yourself, no Teron Armstead. Tua Tagovailoa, 0 sacks today. I mean, really the biggest issue we can talk about with this offensive line is him and Connor Williams got to go on an escape room or something. They got to work on that trust. They got to work on themselves. They got to get something going on there. But for the most part, I mean, Tua had time today, and when he didn't have time, you see the maturity. You see him being able to go. And look, he wasn't. This is crazy to say for a guy who nearly threw for 500 today, but like there were definitely some throws with Tua, especially I think in the first half today, where you were like kind of because they were getting thrown up, and there was a lot of batting down by the Chargers. So it felt in some ways like Tua still needed to get into his rhythm. But you got to think about this, man. Tua Tagovailoa has not played football basically since Christmas Eve, real football of last year. And, one of the things, it's great to talk about the idea that he is healthy again. That's great. To see him have fun out there, him and Tyreek urging on the Dolphin fans who were out there in LA, and shout out to them. I mean, you wouldn't have known what team was the home team in that one. It was a huge when they had the intentional grounding call on Justin Herbert. The roar from the crowd was like, what's going? If you were like, wait, who's the home team in this? I don't understand. But yeah, health is obviously a big thing with Tua and all that stuff. But think about the competitor, right? This guy, he puts on the muscle. He goes and throws on a damn
to go take jiu-jitsu. He puts all of this work in to get himself right. Because one of the things that is overlooked and has to just eat at him was where his team was last year. What was being talked about with him last year. And he had to sit on the sidelines and watch his team in the playoffs. I know that seems like small potatoes. I know that seems like nothing compared to, hey, his career is going to continue. Hey, his health has head up. I get all that. But let's just think about this from the competitor standpoint. The guy who snapped on Ryan Clark and told him to keep his name out of your mouth after saying that he didn't work hard in the offseason. Think about this guy having to watch his team struggle on the road against Buffalo. Thinking to himself, I could make the difference there. I could have made this easier. I could have given us a chance. And you have to wait all that out. And so, I think that you definitely had a Tua that was trying to make things happen and maybe threw a few dicey throws that maybe you shouldn't have, but like, look how many he made that turned into just pure excellence today. And the guy, look, you always are going to talk about Tua and Justin Herbert. They're linked at the hip. I don't care what they say about it. I don't care what PC things they say about this. This quarterback is always going to be great to this quarterback because the Dolphins were a pick away from taking Justin Herbert, and he just signed the second biggest contract of all quarterbacks, right? And in his draft class, too, has seen all of his QBs get paid. And we're talking about a fifth-year option. Should have a fifth-year option? What a ridiculous debate after you watch this guy, because the one thing that is undeniable with this quarterback is he's good. I mean, there's durability. You worry about the head health. You worry about, he's got a lot of injuries. He's overcome some real obstacles, mental, physical. But the one thing you cannot debate at all is Tua Tagovailoa is good at football. Great at football. And him versus Tyreek Hill is the most fun Dolphin fans have had in 20-plus years since Ricky Williams was dominating the league. You haven't had offensive prowess like this and feeling like we have the best thing in the league. That's how you felt like when you had Ricky at his peak. And obviously going back to like Marino the Marx Brothers, like that's way back. But I'm talking like for the Dolphin fans who are in their 30s, they're pining, they're craving all of this stuff, and they're getting it. And what a win, what a thriller this one was. What a back and forth affair that you had from these guys. And I mean, the Chargers just, they were without their own dumb stuff, man. I mean, they really weren't. They had some weird stuff going on as well. Like, there was this play. First of all, Mike McDaniel, Wheelbarrow Mike is back, okay? Because for him, we're looking at it, he's like, you know what? The Dolphins were down 14-10. And on a 4th and 7, Mike McDaniel's like, nah, going for it. And Tua finds Durham Smythe for the first down. And then, it was just the Tua Cheetah show, basically, up until Tua found River Craycraft for a touchdown. So, yeah, and that was at a point where you basically had, Cheetah had already eclipsed the 100 mark by the time halftime was nearing. And then, this was a really weird one. So, the Chargers have like a minute left. Herbert falls down and gets up to try and run it. So he could have gotten that, and then maybe he would have messed up the field goal, but like he gets up and runs. Dolphins call timeout. Call timeout. Their kicker ties it up at 17. But with 9 seconds left, Dolphins find themselves in a position where he gets it to Jalen Waddle. 2 seconds left. Chucks it up to Eric Ezukama. And J.C. Jackson shoves him. And Jason Sanders is able to put the Dolphins up 20-17 going into that. It was a huge swing. It was a big play. There were just so many moments where you're just like, looking at this team. And yeah, like the Dolphins definitely had their moments of just like scratching your head, like, what the hell were they thinking there? But I don't know what the hell J.C. Jackson was thinking, dude. He just like it was so obvious and pretty wild. But this Dolphins team today, man, they really were able to come through. And every time something did look like it could have gone wrong, and the Chargers came out of halftime and they got themselves the lead, and then Tua, he has the position where he throws up an interception to J.C. Jackson, and then you got to give this one to Kader Kohou, because Kader, first of all, he had a beautiful hit, nice hold up deep in the Chargers' own territory, and then comes up with a monster sack. Nearly gets Justin Herbert in the end zone for a safety, but gets a monster sack. And I honestly was shocked. I thought this was one of the worst plays because you could not ignore how good they were at running the football, but on 3rd and 1, Los Angeles, 3rd and 1, puts Justin Herbert in the shotgun. And I could not believe they didn't run the football there because of just how dominant they've been. They had been so dominant, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if Justin Herbert was getting a little bored or what, but they decided to kind of divert off the game plan. And Kader Kohou comes up with a monster sack, puts the Dolphins in great field position at the 35. Fair catch.
Next play, Cheetah, bomb from Tua, 35 yards. He takes off his helmet. He's yelling at the fan, I'm here! And the Cheetah man, the man who said he was going for 2K, how can you deny him, man? This is what a win. What a win it was for the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what they're saying. I'm doing this kind of in the midst of everybody talking, just kind of insto reaction. But missed this, man. What a football weekend it was down here in Miami.